Good morning to all students. Today we have to study ozone deflection. This is the subject in covered environmental science and the topic is ozone layer deflection. What is the ozone layer? It is called as a ozonosphere and containing O3 gas. O3 like says three particles of the oxygen. O3 gas is a gas which has a capacity to absorb large proportions of ultraviolet rays which are coming from the sunlight. And the biosphere has been developed on the land surface and in the water bodies. If the ultraviolet rays directly come at our atmospheric Earth, they are highly harmful gases. But the ozone layer are absorb the all types of the ultraviolet rays. Like we have to sort say as a UV rays. This we have to image study in detail. That we have to identify here. This portion called as a stratosphere. This portion called as a stratosphere. The length between stratosphere is 10 to 50 kilometer in our atmosphere. But how at long it's are available from the Earth's surface from the 10 to 15 kilometer away. Stratosphere. First is an troposphere. Then after starts stratosphere and stratosphere up to 90% ozone layer is there. Most of ozone layer in stratosphere and 90% is there, and they are absorbing the most of ultraviolet rays which are coming from the sun and absorbed in the ozone layer. Otherwise we can say that they are reflected from the ozone layer, not coming in our atmosphere or surface. What is the ozone deflection? Ozone deflection means we have to removing O3 from the stratosphere and it's making a hole at stratosphere. That we have to say that here is the one giving that ozone deflection chemical. Which type of ozone deflection chemical is there? One is a CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. Chlorofluorocarbon is they are using most of air conditioning and refrigeration system. Also hydrocarbon with fluoride that we are using in most of the in our old generation refrigeration and air conditioning system, because we have to require cooling at the very low temperature. So that's the we have to using chlorofluorocarbon and hydrochlorocarbon in our refrigeration system. When the system gets are leaked, the all types of the gases are rejected to atmosphere directly. Some of the halogens they are fire executors. Then have the methyl bromide, pesticide. Pesticide most often use methyl bromide. That's all type of the chemical content directly rejected to our atmosphere. Whenever it's mixed with our atmospheric air, they are required one oxygen from the earth. This one oxygen where is to get from? If they are not directly getting from the oxygen, oxygen contains two molecules of oxygen. That's why you have to see here oxygen containing two molecules of oxygen. That's called as a O2 or oxygen. But oxygen are not mixed with that type of the chemical. They are required one oxygen and they are getting a oxygen from ozone molecular O3. That are CFC, fluoride, chloride, carbon. They are required one oxygen and releasing a O2 so that they are mixed with the ozone layer and taking a one oxygen from the ozone and release oxygen. That process is here. They are taking a one oxygen and a release one oxygen and mix with the fluoride, chloride and carbon, and they are making a monoxide chloride. Ultraviolet rays are split chloride atom away from the CFC, chlorofluorocarbon molecule. There is only one weight. That's you have to here consider this chlorine particle. This chlorine particle require only one oxygen. They are bonding with here the carbon. But when the contact with ozone layer, they are getting a one oxygen from the ozone and release O2. and they are split with the carbon. Then after the carbon are mixed with O2 and creating a CO2. With the oxygen level, here we have to say that one chlorine required one bonding with carbon, but they are split with the carbon and taking a one oxygen from O3 and carbon taking a O2 from the ozone layer and convert into the CO2. And then after this phase are getting a less molecular of ozone that's called as a whole. That we can say as a ozone layer deflection. Let's see our next point. This is a stratosphere. One of the solar radiation are coming from the sun. Ozone layer, troposphere, ozone deflection phase, CFC, XCFC, and VOC, and harmful UV rays. That's due to set stratosphere, ozone, and layer destruction. How much make? Here, this is a stratosphere. Most of the ozone layer is available there. And the bottom of or starting of the stratosphere, 90% ozone layer is there. But the CFC, CFC, and VOC is there, and they are mixed with the ozone layer, and they are creating a hole on ozone layer. This is the hole are created by the our using of this type of the chemical. And then after these hole are allowed to sunlight enter into the earth. This is a sunlight directly enter into the earth. Like as a UV rays also come with this the hole. And this UV light are highly deflected to our atmosphere and highly harmful to our whole living body. So again that we have to use this gases in very less in our regular routine. And most of refrigeration air conditioning system are changed for chlorofluorocarbon and HCFC gas because of they are not eco-friendly gas. Thus, in latest technology, we are reducing the use of that type of the gases. What is the ozone? Ozone containing gas, three molecular of the oxygen, a gas composed of three atoms of oxygen. Bluish gas that harmful to breath. We cannot taking a in our breath like as a O3 because of it is very harmful. Here we are taking for oxygen from the atmosphere to breath. They are containing only and only two molecular of oxygen. If the molecular are three, we are not taking in our breath because it is a very dangerous to our breathing system. Nearly 90% of the Earth ozone in the stratosphere and referred to as an ozone layer. We can say that as ozone layer, and they are available in our stratosphere, and 90% of the oxygen, 90% of the ozone is there. Ozone absorbs the band of ultraviolet rays called as a UVB. Most of the ultraviolet band where they are coming from the sunlight, they are absorbed in our ozone layer. What does the ozone layer do for us? Which work are done from the ozone layer? Ozone layer is only a major atmospheric constituent that absorbs the significantly between 210 to 290 nanometer. There is a millimole nanometer frequency are available from the sun, but the ultraviolet rays we have to consider is the frequency length is 210 to 290 nanometer. That's all types of the radiation are very harmful to all living body. And 210 to 290 nanometer frequency band are absorbed by the ozone layer and protect from the them. Without it, life it would be remain in underwater. If this nanometer wavelength frequency are directly come from the atmosphere in our Earth's surface, the life are not possible. Only and only life are possible when we are into the underwater. Means all aquarium living body can live, and all living body on surface are in a dangerous condition because of they are not absorbing that type of the ultraviolet the frequency band from 210 to 219. They are creating a harmful effect for all living body. Ozone deflection process already you have to see. Here is a one image is there. That's image we have to see. That's image. This blue indication mentioned that there is a highly ozone layer available is there. But this industry are producing CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, CFC rise into the ozone layer. Some of the ultraviolet rays are there. Some of the HFC available is there. So that they are mixed with the ozone layer and crack the ozone layer and making a one hole. And the UV radiation are that stopped from this place. Here you have to see the UV radiation are stopped by the ozone layer. After process of CFC mixed with ozone, they are making a hole on ozone layer. You have to see here, they are making a one hole inside the ozone layer. So what happened at this time? At this time, here we can say the UV light are directly passed from the ozone layer hole. That's what we say the ozone deflection. Here the UV light are directly passed from the surface light and directly enter into the our atmosphere, and they are creating a many more type of the cancer to all living body. So we have to remove use of that type of the chemical structure in our daily basis. That you have to see another image. Ozone deflecting substance. That's all type of the substance we have to see. CFC chlorofluorocarbon, hydrofluorocarbon, halogens, methyl bromide, carbon tetrafluoride, and methyl chloroform. They are using in highly in industrial area, also in our refrigeration and air conditioning system. But this all type of the gases is very harmful to our atmosphere. First likely to say that as a ozone layer. Source of that, the harmful and protective ozone layer, solvent cleaning product. Solvent cleaning product we have to using in our daily uses, but they are producing a harmful effect in ozone up to 36%. They are part of 100%. If you to considering 100% harmful gases from the all our daily activity from the human, residential, commercial, and industrial, the solvent cleaning are the part of 36%. Sanitization are part of 3% because of they are containing highly alcohol we have to using. Refrigeration and air conditioning system they are taking a part of 30%. Foam products they are taking a 40%, 14%, as well as a 5%, and other product from including halon they are include contain a 12% part to producing a that's all type of the chemical structure, and they are completely absorb the oxygen from the ozone layer and creating a hole on ozone layer, and that's called as a ozone deflection. That you to see another next image for an ozone deflection process. Here is a one vehicle is there, sunlight is there, some of the cloud is there. They're considering in our atmospheric system where we have to using a heavily vehicle, and they all types of the vehicle are using a fossil fuel. Most often they are using a liquid fuel. Liquid fuel like as a petrol, kerosene, diesel they are using. Here we see that there is a one car. Just you have to look like this car are using a petrol. After the burning process in combustion chamber, they releasing carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and sulfur with the incomplete combustion. That's like called as a CON, NO, and SO. That all type of this structure called as a incomplete combustion. That you have to see here two NO and CO. The regular gas, the chemical structure for NO2 nitrogen dioxide and CO2 carbon dioxide and SO2 sulfur dioxide. But when the ignition are incompleted in ignition chamber, they are producing a pollutant gas. like as a incomplete combustion, say as a NO and CO. This incomplete gas are required one oxygen taking from the atmosphere, but they are taking a oxygen from ozone layer, not taking the oxygen from the regular oxygen O2. Just you to show it there. There is a layer of ozone layer. This called as an ozone layer, and taking a one oxygen from that. Here is a one oxygen is taking from this portion and get convert into the NO2 and CO2 and release one O2. Here, just you have to like just have to like this. One NO gas are required one oxygen from the ozone layer. So that we have to add O3. Then after this structure are converted from NO2 plus O2, and that process are very fast, and many more nitrogen, carbon and sulfur available from the atmosphere which are rejected from the vehicle, and day by day they are using the oxygen from the ozone layer and producing O2, but the ozone layer are making a hole or their thickness are goes to a down, so that the ultraviolet rays directly enter into the our atmosphere. If you to see another image, they are also producing NOx, SO2, CO2. They are using a fossil fuel. Here, this image are giving a truck, bus, and road equipment. These are power plant are producing SO2. They are VOC, refineries and chemical plants. They are cars, factories, all types of the vehicle, all types of the industry are producing an incomplete combustion with the CO, NO, and SO. And they are taking a one oxygen from the ozone and creating a ozone deflection. That's called as a smoke sources. The smoke sources means that they are every day producing a that type of the gases, and they are mixed with the ozone layer and creating a cloud. That cloud are getting a help of sunlight and sun heat with the help of the vapor particle and convert into the complete SO2, NO2 and CO2 and releasing O2 gases. That's called as a making a hole in our ozone layer. That's the views of another source of volatile organic carbon and source of NOx. Source of volatile organic carbon means carbons are mostly available in fossil fuel. Most of fossil fuel are bonding with carbon and hydrogen. Carbon are mixed with the CO2 and hydrogen are mixed with the O2 and they are producing CO2 plus H2O. If you to say some of the ignition system are required many more air to ignite them, but they are not required air, they are required oxygen. Because of this, the all types of the fossil fuel, maximum number of hydrogen and maximum number of carbon is there. So they are releasing carbon dioxide plus H2O when we have to ignite or burning of the fossil fuel in the presence of oxygen. So all type of the industrial and commercial process occurs in the ignition chamber with using of fossil fuel, and all types of the motor vehicle are using the fossil fuel and they are creating a volatile organic carbon. Like as a view to say percentage wise, the 37% part of the volatile organic matter is a vehicle and industrial are the 58% and consumer solvent are produced 5%. They are creating a higher volatile organic carbon in our atmosphere. When another side we have to say that the source of NOx, where is the incomplete combustion occurs, they are producing also NOx. They are mostly producing from the our electricity generation plant. They are using the coal basis plant. some of the industry are creating a NOx. Industry are the most important part to creating that type of the pollution. Here for carbon considering they are creating 58%, but for considering nitrogen side, they are creating a 30% producing NOx in our atmosphere. Also the part of the all types of the vehicle is there because of the not only pure oxygen get inside the ignition chamber to our engine, but the totally air goes inside the ignition chamber. So part of nitrogen is there. So where ignition takes place inside the cylinder, some of the nitrogen monoxide are creating inside the chamber. So that vehicle are most important part to creating that type of NOx in our atmosphere, and that are all producing harmful effects. Where is to producing? They are mixed with our ozone layer and creating a hole in ozone layer. What we can do? What we can do means that how we can reduce that type of the ozone deflection. So some of the major part is our human. Human can decrease that type of the activity. They are producing a incomplete combustion. So we have to reducing ozone deflection in our atmosphere and save the life for a long term. Keep your automobile well tuned and maintained. All types of the automobile are require a maintenance after the some time period. You have to give it a properly and maintain. Then after due to reducing the silencer gases producing from the engine. Carpool use the mass transit, walk, bicycle, and reduce the driving, especially on hot summer days. When the summer days are coming in this times, due to reducing use of vehicle because of at this time they are producing a heavily gases. If possible, we have to use to bicycle. If a small distance we have to cover, then we have to go with walk. They are also beneficial for our health and creating a less pollution. Be careful, don't spill gasoline when the filling up your car or gasoline power drone and the garden equipment. When you have to filling our gasoline in our vehicle, we have to measure our instrument. Test instrument are hot or cold. Means sometimes we have to taking a long distance from the highway and filling our gasoline inside the vehicle. Like as a cold as a we have petrol filling or diesel filling. At the hot condition, we have to reduce because they are a highly volatile material and they are directly transferred from liquid to vapor, and that vapor are directly added in our atmosphere. So it's creating a harmful effect. Sometimes a highly temperature taking a flame in petrol side because of the all the petrol vapor are directly transferred from its liquid form to gaseous form in our atmosphere at normal temperature. It's called as a highly evaporation rate. Highly evaporation rate means it's a convert from liquid to gases, and they are getting easily ignited. Make the sure your car tire properly inflated and your wheels are aligned. Most of the car tire are not inflated at the same tire pressure. If you have to considering for any car, there is a working of four wheels. Inflated means we have to giving a proper pressure inside the tire. If the tire pressure are properly not maintained for all tires, they are required more and more fuel consumption from the engine because of the imbalanced car are giving a maximum load on engine and taking a more fuel. Therefore, tire pressure properly you have to maintain and wheel alignment also are necessary. Participate in your local utility energy conversion program so we can aware all the people about this program and reduce the pollution. See container or household cleaner, workshop chemicals and solvent and the garden chemical to prevent like coal as a VOC, volatile organic carbon, from the evaporating into the air. Dispose of them properly. That all types of the household cleaner or soap chemicals, solvent that are a highly evaporating rate. So it converts directly the liquid to vapor in normal temperature and pressure. But we have to dispose. So after use of our work, then maintaining a proper method, not reject it to directly our atmosphere. To maintain proper method, or it's due to isolated or seal, and then after we have to reject. So that we have to reducing some of the pollutant gases in our atmosphere. Thank you.